Dr. Lashante said the Spirit Airlines. I the Spirit Airlines you went on?
No Spirit.
No Spirit. Gia said you sure found the loopholes, and Dika said Civian cracked the code. Good evening and welcome to a very special edition of Travel Talk. I'm your host, Deandra Dean, educator, author, and global storyteller. And tonight we're diving into a conversation that doesn't get highlighted enough: Bahamian men and travel. This is about expanding horizons, redefining what's possible, and seeing how our men are shaping their identities through global experiences. Our theme tonight: unlocking the power of international travel for Bahamian men. It's more than just a title, it's an invitation to discover how stepping beyond our borders can transform the way we see the world and, more importantly, the way we see ourselves. In a nation known for its beauty, yet often bound by the comfort of the familiar, three remarkable Bahamian men have chosen to journey far and wide. They immersed themselves in new cultures, embraced unfamiliar experiences, and returned home with insights that can inspire an entire generation. Tonight, you'll meet a man who turns personal adversity into global adventure, a community leader whose travels shaped his vision for service, and a tech professional whose passports tells the story of more than 40 destinations. Together, they'll share how the lessons they've learned abroad can empower Bahamian men to think bigger, dream bolder, and embrace their place on the world stage. So whether you're dreaming of your first trip abroad or mapping your next big adventure, this conversation will inspire you to go further, see more, and own your identity as a citizen of the world. So before I introduce our guest, I want to get a feel for our viewers tuning in live. Tell us your name, where you're tuning in from, and your favorite method for booking flights. So I'll go first. I am Deandra Dean. I'm in from the Bahamas, obviously, and my favorite booking method would have to be Google Flights. That's how I book my flights. So let's check into see what other persons have. Leticia, can you tell us what's going on? What are our viewers saying?
Good evening, everyone. Dr. Lashante Stubbs says Expedia.
Okay.
Krishna Stubbs from Halifax, Canada. We have Canada in the building. Says her favorite method is Expedia as well.
Okay.
And that's all we have for now. Oh, I use Expedia as well.
You use Expedia as well. So Expedia for the win?
Yes.
Why? Dr. Lashante, can you guys tell us why do you like Expedia? Why is that your preference?
I like Expedia because it allows me to like collect points. And
Okay.
there are like a lot of membership perks. So I think I told a story before when, a couple of travel talks ago, like usually when I go to check in, they would be like, oh, you're an Expedia like VIP member, so you got like this free upgrade, or you have like this $50 like food budget. So there are a lot of perks with Expedia.
Ah, okay. So I think that's the consensus. And who else said Expedia? Do you want to unmute your mic and share why you like to use Expedia? Because that's most persons would have said that. I think I'm the only one who had a different one.
Well, for me, I also use Google Flights.
Okay.
So Some people like Expedia. I like Google Flights.
All right. Got it. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, guys. All right. And so we're going to get into introducing our guest tonight. So our first guest story is of resilience and reinvention. For 10 years, Civian Newbold worked in construction until an accident forced him to rebuild his life in a whole new way. Today, he's a luxury chauffeur, tour guide, entrepreneur, and a passionate advocate for financial literacy. From earning his scuba diver license at the age of 14 to exploring destinations across the US, the Caribbean, Europe, the Middle East, including Portugal, Italy, Turkey, and the UAE, Civian is living proof that travel can be a powerful tool for transformation. Welcome, Civian.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, welcome. Our next guest is a leader in every sense, in his church, his family, his community, and his profession. Laquan Cooper is an electrician, HVAC technician, business owner, youth leader, and mentor. His work has taken him beyond the shores of Eleuthera to places rich in history, faith, and innovation. Experiences that have expanded his vision for service and leadership. Welcome, Laquan. And last but by no means least, David Gardiner, a man whose passport tells the story of more than 40 destinations in the tech industry. He's a force with custom computers and a partner in Da Vinci printing innovators. He is helping grow Bahamian entrepreneurship. Beyond business, he's an adventurer, an avid cyclist, a softball player, and a father of two, with a personal mission to visit 100 countries, from the streets of London to the markets of Egypt, from the vineyards of Italy to the landscapes of South Africa. David has truly experienced the world. Welcome, David.
Good evening, all.
Gentlemen, it truly is a privilege to have you here with us tonight. Now, so just like I would have asked our guest, David already answered that his favorite booking method would be Expedia. So Laquan and Civian, could you tell us your favorite booking method?
I think I put mine
Mine.
in the chat too. Expedia as well. It just the point system like Dr. Shante talked about is I like that, and also it just feels easy to navigate, to be honest. So
Easy.
I'm a one thing about me, I'm a guy that when something works, I just continue to go with it. That's it.
Just go for it. I love it. What about you? Civian?
I use Expedia too, especially when you bundle, like when you put your flights in your car and hope you get good deals and good rates like that also when you bundle everything together.
Okay, bundling it together. I understand. But I think why I picked Google Flights is because it allows you to see the cheaper flights. Like if you want to go, let's just say you want to go away in October, it can tell you what the flight prices would be like. So I'm a lone ranger in that, but that's okay. I use Expedia as well. So I get why you guys use it. And I think by now, I think they have platinum and diamond and all those different tiers that you get to. So I completely understand. Thank you guys for sharing. All right. So if, like I said, we're starting off with something like, so if for the rest of your life, you were to travel only with one airline, which airline would it be and what makes them win your loyalty? Everyone don't say Bahamas Air at once. You just say it all at once.
I think I gotta go with British Airways. I don't know. I just hearing British Airways excite me because I know when British Airways are on board, I go into Europe, I go into London, I go into a faraway country that I've never been before. And also I know normally they travel a lot during 10, 11 o'clock. I love a night flight. That's just me personally. I love flying and seeing the city and seeing the lights. So me personally, I just love the way British Airways, they never let me down. They always came through. They always show up, and it's always a good experience. So me, British Airways.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. What about you, gentlemen?
I would say for me, Azerbaijan Airlines. And I think the reason I like my belly, and so the reason why I didn't like them was because the food was good. They had a lot of good food, especially when you want a 15-hour flight and they feed you three times. That good
Uh-huh.
food is coming handy.
Which airline is that?
Azerbaijan,
What is that? Say it again.
Azerbaijan.
Oh, could you type it? I have to check. I have to check that out. I've never heard about it.
I actually have a story about that, but we could get into that later.
Okay. Wonderful. Wonderful. Go ahead, David.
Well, my airline of choice would be Emirates
Ah,
because they have the best movie selection there is. They only
awesome.
they basically do long haul flights. So if you're on a flight for 12 hours, Emirates is where you want to be. Also, they have all the food you can eat.
Oh, wow. And is it really good?
Yes, it is. It is by far one of the best experiences I've had. Oh,
Yeah.
one more thing.
Uh-huh.
I couldn't get past the stewardess, I just love how they look. That little thing they have. Absolutely. I'd go Emirates every day.
All right, gentlemen. Well, you heard it. The finest stewardess are on Emirates. Love it.
No, but Ethiopia Airlines have the finest. They get the finest.
Say the name again.
Ethiopia Airlines. Ethiopia.
Okay.
They stewardess. Yeah.
All
I gotta
right.
give it to African country.
Well, there you have it, guys. Finest stewardess on those two airlines. Okay. And so, have you ever had a first class experience, or an airport launch experience? This is aspirational for many Bahamians. Many Bahamians have never had that kind of experience. So if you would have had that experience, could you share what that was like?
Okay, well, for me, I did both
Okay.
first class experience and airport lounge experience. I have a little act to get into first class also.
Ah,
So what I do, I usually try to arrive at the airport early. And
okay.
I would always ask at the counter if the flight is full.
Okay.
Most times, if the flight is full, you can give up your seat. But they would book you on the next available flight, and they would put you in first class.
Really?
So I flew first class like that at least 4 times.
And this is on British Airways.
No, that was on American several times, more than once on American, and a couple times on Delta.
Oh, wow.
Oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. They may take it away. Anyway.
Okay, so readjust if it's available.
So they usually overbook flights.
Okay.
So if the flight is full, you could offer your seat. So there's a couple of things you get. You get a free ticket sometimes, or free money.
Okay.
Next available flight, and usually first class. Most times.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. So is it much? Do you have to pay a lot more?
You don't have to pay anything. You gave up your seat.
There you have it, guys. Give up your seat and go in first class. Bahamian style. I love it.
Also, I usually do lounges wherever I go.
Okay.
So I've done lounges in Dubai, Africa. Most places I visit, I end up in a lounge. I have some little credit card that gives me that privilege.
Okay.
So that's how I get in the lounge.
Okay. And the launch experience, what is that like?
Well, for me, I like the free Wi-Fi because you can never get Wi-Fi free in airports.
Right.
And the food, well, the best food I've had in the lounge was in Dubai.
In Dubai. Okay. In Dubai's launch.
Yes. The food was excellent.
Awesome.
I've done lounges in 20 countries probably.
You've done the launches in about 20 countries.
At least 20. Okay.
Awesome. This is awesome. And about the credit card. So you said some credit cards give you that access. Is there anyone in our local ones that our viewers could take advantage of?
Well, mine is local.
Okay.
It's from Fidelity Bank. But there's also American Express Platinum, I think, gives you lounge access.
Okay.
If you can get enough points on certain airlines, you can move up to gold status and get free access to lounges also.
Free access to the launch. Okay. Got it. So that's Fidelity. The viewers could check Fidelity to have that access to get that launch experience. All right. What about you, Civian? Have you had either?
No, I haven't as yet.
Awesome. So my question is, if you haven't, what would you look forward to most in the first class experience?
I would say the reclining seats were like a bed where you could go sleep.
That exactly.
And then I see some first class. They also have showers where you get bathed while you're on the plane.
Yes, I think that's Emirates.
Because I had an experience like when we were going to Italy, and so we left Nassau on Monday, but we wouldn't reach Italy until Wednesday. And we had a 9-hour layover in Portugal. And so what we did was we rented an Airbnb for $40, which was like a shared Airbnb, just so we could go there and bathe. So we could bathe. So we wouldn't have to go 2-3 days without bathing.
Right. So if you have that first class experience, you're able to just do that right on the plane
Yeah.
Emirates.
Because I tried to book it in Portugal at the airport, but they said you allowed to use the showers for you are not allowed to use it for departure. So I was like, that didn't make no sense. So that's why we rented the Airbnb instead.
All right. Awesome. And so, Laquan, have you had either? And if not, what would be your thing that you would look forward to in the first class experience?
First and foremost, shout out to Mr. Gardiner for that travel hack. That's something I will try. And no, I haven't as yet. But I think for me, it's got to be the space. Like he talked about the reclining bed, the reclining chairs. I think when when you're traveling for a long period of time, the best thing that you want to be is comfortable. So I guess the comfortability of that first class would be the thing that I look for the most.
All right, awesome. And I would have to say I could appreciate the fact that the first class has the reclining bed, because when you're traveling for all that time, it doesn't matter how excited you are, it does take a toll on your body, and I could never get used to it. So I'm right in with you guys. First class is my aspiration as well. So all of these things that David said, I'm going to be trying it, okay? Because I always thought that we would say we wanted to go, and then they said sometimes it's cheaper when you go at the desk. Like you may get it for like $1,000, because first class be crazy sometimes. It could be like flights are up to $12,000 for first class. So David, you put your Bahamian brother and sister on. We're definitely trying those hacks. All the Bahamians in first class. All right, guys. So the next question I have is, when you land in a new place, do you prefer the polish of a hotel or the authenticity of an Airbnb? Are you an Airbnb guy or a hotel guy? And why?
Oh man, you know what? I can be honest. I like both. And sometimes I like the vibe of the hotel where the experience of not having to clean up after yourself. You have room service, you know what I mean? You have that comfortability. It's something about a hotel, the aura of it. It just feels, you know what I mean? It feels good. But also then the thing is, with a hotel though, you got to deal with so much interaction with other people passing in the lobby, this and that, whatever. So sometimes I've been in a space where I just want to settle and be more laid back. So the Airbnb vibe sometimes I like as well. You see what I'm saying? Where it's just you, your family, you don't have to see nobody, you know what I mean? So sometimes I guess it depends on how I feeling, but I take the boat, honestly.
Okay. Thank you for sharing. And what about you, Civian? Are you an Airbnb guy or a hotel guy?
I prefer both. Like him too. I prefer both.
Yeah.
And like I have some trips coming up now where some like when I go to Thailand, like I'm going to Thailand. So some of my when I
Are you
stayed
gonna?
in Bangkok,
Well, you go to Thailand, bro? Wait, what?
when I stayed in Bangkok, I stay in a basically a Airbnb, and then when I go to Phuket, Pattaya, I could be in a hotel, and then when I go to Phuket, I could be back in an Airbnb.
So is it because you want to have, why did you choose either or why not the straight through the way hotel or Airbnb? You just wanted that different kind of experience?
Yeah, that different kind of experience. And the reason why I really booked the hotel in Pattaya too, because that had a pool in the room. So I was like, what, I get a room with a pool in it?
It depends on the vibes.
Yes,
Got
depends
it.
on the vibe.
Got it. What about you, David?
Well, for me, it's strictly hotel. Strictly, no Airbnb. It's more of a safety issue.
Okay.
Like, you go to these strange countries and you just don't know. So for me, it's always hotel, never
It's
Airbnb.
always hotel, no matter what.
Always.
No signing up for Airbnb, no local experience.
No, there's more security, and then I could also get up and have breakfast and don't have to cook.
The free breakfast. All right, awesome. And to our viewers watching, what is your travel style? Are you an Airbnb person or are you hotel? Let's see what they're saying in the chat. Okay, Christina is saying both. Both experiences. He says saying both. Okay, Dr. Shante is saying if she is solo, she's definitely doing hotel. If she's with her family, she's going to do Airbnb. And Brittany is also saying Airbnb. All right. Airbnb all the way, Brittany, or is it Airbnb sometimes? Okay. Garvin Butler says hotels. Antigua says hotel. So it seems like, Spency, what is the consensus? Is it hotel or is it a mix? You do the stats.
It seems as though it's hotel.
Hotels are the way to go.
Yeah.
All right.
Because when people say both, it's the same thing.
All right. Awesome. Olivia King says hotel sometimes, Airbnb sometimes. I like both. And Anthony Dean said, I like both. Security is a big issue. Definitely is. Awesome, guys. Awesome. So we're still keeping it light. A few more questions for our light segment. What 3 items you would never miss from your carry-on? It has to be, as a Bahamian man, these 3 things go with you in every country, no matter what. And guests watching, you can also put yours as well. We'll check in with you after.
Well, for me, I must have a universal charger.
Okay.
I must have a change of clothes. And I must have a small bag of toiletries. It's a must.
And every time you travel?
Every time I travel. Because, there is that possibility of that lost bag.
Tell me about it.
So those 3 things is a must. No ifs, no ands, no buts. I always have it.
All right, Laquan, what about you? Awesome.
Mr. Gunn, I didn't even think about a universal charger, but I gotta add it to my list as well.
Yes.
that universal charger is so important. So I'll say that as well. I think also for me, I still a little bit old school, so I like to have my Bible in there. I have to carry it everywhere I go, sure.
Okay.
And also my AirPods and my headphones. Music is a must. When I'm on a plane for a long period of time, or if I go somewhere for a long period of time, I gotta listen to my music, catch up on some podcasts or something like that. So for me, my headphones for sure, and AirPods for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. And what about you, Civian?
I would say my power bank.
Okay.
My, like you say, the adaptable UK and Asia adapter.
Okay.
And earplugs.
Okay, and air plugs, definitely. So sorry, go ahead.
because I noticed like when I was at Dubai, when we went in the water, when the water went into my ears started ringing.
Oh, air plugs, not the air
Yeah,
phones, the ones for the
yeah,
water.
yeah. Because I
Okay.
noticed my friend, she didn't have that problem, but I think the reason why she didn't, because during the flight, the long flight, she had earplugs in her ears, so that's why going in the water didn't affect her ears.
Oh wow, those are awesome. I have to add a few of those to my list as well. Awesome. And so what about somebody said it was something I was supposed to comment on that you guys. So what about on the plane with the using the David had mentioned the best movies are on Emirates. So what kind of headphones do you guys use when you're traveling? Because they give you little ones that go in the complimentary one. So which ones do you guys find is the best one to use?
I use my Bluetooth because most times I don't even watch the movies what they have. That's why I have my power bank, and then I have my Netflix on my tablet, and other movies I download offline. So I could choose what I want to watch instead of what they have.
Ah, it's like that. So you don't use the airport, the airline's Wi-Fi. You guys don't use that.
Um,
So,
not no, not like that.
sometimes I buy it, yeah.
Okay,
Sometimes.
fast because on British Airways, I thought that it was Highway. Was it British Airways or I don't want to mix up the airlines, but one of them was Highway Robbery. Babe, if you're on, you can tell me which one was Highway.
They're all
It was Highway Robbery. I was like, it didn't
Yeah.
work. Oh.
They're all highway robbery, by the way. All of them.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
But for me,
They were like on it straight through, and I was like, well, how come they could use their laptop and stuff like that? But when it was my time, I'm like, okay, forget it. It was like $20 or something, but it didn't work out for me.
but for me, I usually use the little earphones they give you on the plane.
Ah.
But I have my AirPods, but I don't use them because you can't connect into their system.
And that was my question. I'm like, what do people use? Because but when I look around, there are some persons that are using all sorts of different things, but I'm like, okay, clearly I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah, but they're usually paying for that. They usually stream those movies to their device, which is at a cost.
Yeah.
When you can just plug your earphones into their system and watch the movies for free.
Okay, well, that's true. So Shanta is saying I use my AirPods and download my own Netflix. All kind of movies, but the same complimentary ones that they give us. She is saying she takes her charger and all of her bank cards, definitely. And that's a conversation for the whole other day because some of these banks would make you shame. When you're trying to use them. I did not say Commonwealth Bank, okay? I didn't say that. When you go over to the country, so she's saying that's in a travel bag. Sorry guys, just catching up on the chat. She carries a change of clothing and Bose system. Okay, Shana Delancey is saying, Shana, are you saying to use that? You use the Bose earphones? Could you unmute your mic and tell us if that automatically works with the airport screens, the monitors?
I have one time before, and I got some Bosley airport that they give me, and it was noise canceling, so I was able to sleep on the flight. I was able to sleep on the flight, and I was able to, the ringing activity thing. I normally combat that with chewing gum, so I always have a chewing gum. Every flight I go on, I have that chewing gum because when you are sending in the air, the ringing will keep you off guard.
Okay, you said Bose. I'm saying it wrong. It's Bose or Bose.
Bose.
Okay, we're gonna check that out. Thank you for sharing, Shana. Krishna saying airplane headphones if I'm desperate or AirPods. Okay. if this credit card is this debit or credit card. They're asking for, I think that probably is the Wi-Fi Shana was asking about. I use my, go ahead.
I think David.
Okay, you're breaking up, Shana, so just type it, okay, and then we'll answer you in the chat because your connection is breaking up. And Brittany is saying she needs those first class travel hacks. She came late. Okay, guys. David is the expert in that.
That's why I said I wanted to know what it was and how we went about it, so I could start to use my fidelity card or something. So I wanted to know.
Sorry, go ahead. You were breaking up.
You can hear me now?
I can hear you a little bit. It's kind of echoey.
Yeah, you can hear me because I switched to Wi-Fi. My question was to David. Was it a debit card or a credit card? And how was he able to use it to fly first class?
Did you hear it, David?
Okay, yeah. So I only did it on US Airlines, okay? So American and Delta. Whenever you go to the airport, if the flight is overbooked, you can always ask, is the flight full? And they may say yes or no. If it's not full, then there's nothing you can do. But if it is full, you can give up your seat. So in return, they would give you, depending on the airlines, Delta would give you a ticket, American would give you a cash voucher. They'd book you on the first immediate flight out, and usually 9 out of 10 times you get to fly first class. But you have to ask this question at, when you check in. Is the flight full? If it's not, then nothing's going to happen. You just have to pay if you want to go in first class.
Right. Excellent. Excellent, David. I tell you, all the Bahamians going to be in first class. I'm telling you. Okay, guys. So we want to move on to our passport story and why beyond the U.S. As Bahamians, all of our lives, we have been traveling to our neighbors. And so we want to know you gentlemen's passport story. Can you tell us about the first journey that you took beyond the U.S. and why? You want to start, Laquan? Let's start with you.
Yes, I can start. Well, I remember I was a part of this club named Rotary. So back in like 2018 or 2019, Rotaries normally have their conventions all across the world.
Okay.
So what happened was they was looking for two persons to go and represent the club. And I remember sitting in this meeting. They was having convention, I think, in Hamburg, Germany. And they was asking everyone who wants to go. Somebody said, I can't make it around that time. This one say that's too far to go. This one was saying that. This was saying that. So it hit me. I was like, something. I've never been out of further than the U.S. before. I was like, you know what? I think this is an opportunity for me to actually go and represent my club. And I was like, I want to go. And a next guy as well, his name was Thomas, and he was like, you know what, I going with Laquan as well. We going, and everyone was looking at us crazy. Everyone was like, y'all going where? Germany? Y'all know where that is? I was like, something, I going with God. As long as I know God got me, I know as long as He's there, I am going. Trust me, I'm going to take that trip, and the opportunity presented, and I went.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And that was on what kind of trip was it? Which?
Rotary.
Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. What about you, Civian? What sparked your wanderlust? What was the first country that you went beside the U.S. and why?
Well, I actually was laying up in the hospital with a broken leg, and I came across this travel blogger by the name of Nas Daily. And he was traveling all around the world. And I was like, from I was a kid, I was like, I always wanted to travel around the world, but people always make it feel like it was so expensive.
Right.
And so I started looking at one-way tickets to like different countries in Europe, and then I do Africa, South America. And I was like, oh, it isn't as like expensive as people make it seem. And so
Right.
ironically, 2 years later, I did my first trip out of the US where I went to Portugal, Italy, Turkey, Dubai, and Kenya.
You did that
And my,
all in one
trip.
go?
And my plane tickets was only $1,329.
Are you serious?
Yes.
It was
And
that. Go ahead.
how I got it so cheap was I only booked one-way tickets. So my only round trip ticket was from here to New York and New York back here. And then I intentionally booked flights with long layovers.
Okay.
So my flight from New York to Italy, I intentionally booked a flight. My flight actually had a 6-hour layover in Portugal. And
Okay.
my friend who bought a ticket a week earlier, her flight had a 9-hour layover.
Wow.
And so I was like, I might as well go on your flight so we could explore. And so they called the company and they told me it would cost $100 and something to change my flight to her flight.
Civian, I have to stop you there. What year was this? Because I'm hearing you say $100 and these low prices. What year was this?
Yeah, this is in 2019.
Okay. Pre-pandemic.
And so then I actually got the one-way ticket for $60. So I say, instead of paying the one something to change it, I said, let me see how much for a one-way ticket from Italy to Portugal. And it was actually $60.
$60, 60.
So I say cheaper. I just buy that ticket, no worry about the change. And when I reach in Portugal, I just tell them, hey, I ain't going on that flight no more. I going on the next flight. So do put my bags on the 9-hour, the one for the 9-hour, not the 6-hour.
Okay.
And then it was in Italy for 3 days. Then my one-way ticket from Italy to Dubai, that had a 6-hour layover in Istanbul, Turkey.
Okay.
And so we paid a driver 4 hours to drive us around and then bring us back to the airport.
To just see it. Okay. And all of this cost $1,300. And it does that include going and coming?
Yeah, that's round trip. And then my one-way ticket from Dubai back to New York, the cheapest ticket was $430. But I bought a ticket that was $470, $40 more. And the reason why I paid that the extra $40, because the flight that was $40 more had a 16-hour layover in Nairobi, Kenya. So it's like an extra $40. I get to go Africa for a day. It's like, can't beat that.
Guys, Civian is the greatest of all time in terms of, just seeing multiple countries. He has a master class in that. Awesome. The chat is saying, wow. Kristen is saying, how? Lashante, wow.
Right now, I have a trip in November. It's a birthday trip. I go into LA, Singapore, Thailand, South Korea, and Panama.
Awesome. Is this all on the 1,300 budget as well?
No, this one
a little bit more expensive now.
Yeah, this one was like 1,800.
Okay, still not bad. Shanna is saying he taught me this. Is Shanna your friend? That okay? Awesome. Oh, so why didn't y'all go together? When you
we are friends. We friends through the same person, like associate. Like we wasn't that like close back then. Yeah.
Got it. Awesome. Dr. Lashante said the Spirit Airlines. The Spirit Airlines you went on?
No Spirit.
No Spirit. Gia said you sure found the loopholes, and Dika said Civian cracked the code on the. What about you? What sparked your wanderlust? What is your travels? What is your passport story?
Well, my first trip was to St. Martin.
Okay.
I was in Boys Brigade as a young chap.
Okay.
So that was my first international trip. So I went to St. Martin and St. Eustatia during that trip.
Okay.
That's what started it all.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. So that St. Martin, Dr. Lashante said last time that we Bahamians don't even know what is the Caribbean. St. Martin is Caribbean, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the Caribbean.
Yeah.
I think that's the one of the islands that's French and Dutch, right?
French and Dutch, yeah.
Yeah.
French and Dutch, yeah. And it's a small island. They call it the island with the friendly people. Yeah, very nice. And the planes come over on the beach. Very nice island. All right, guys. And so what was when you think about the United States compared to the other parts of the world? You gentlemen have been all around the world. What really stands out as different? Why would a Bahamian, why would you keep going to countries? What really stands out? What makes the world different from the US?
Well, for me, with my experience, I like when I go far places like that, especially when I go through customs and immigration, and I give them my passport, and they look at it like, "Wow, I never see this passport before."
Mm-hmm.
Like my first experience with it was when I was in Italy, and I gave the ticket agent my passport. I told her I'm going to Dubai. She asked me for a visa. I was like, "My country don't need a visa to go there." She's like, "You sure?" I was like, "Yeah." And see,
Yeah.
because you black, and because they don't know, some of them don't even know about the Bahamas, so they automatically think you coming from Africa.
Yes.
And like even when I was in Dubai, the immigration officer asked me for my visa. And I told him I don't need one. He's like, "I never heard of your country before." I was like, "You never heard of the Bahamas?" He was like, "No." And so he was on the phone for like 5 minutes. I don't know who he
Mm-hmm.
was talking to, his supervisor or somebody. And then when he hung up the phone, he stopped my passport, say, "Welcome to Dubai." I say, "See, I told you." See, a lot of people don't know we could travel to up to
Yes,
161 countries without visa.
that's right.
And we have the 25th most powerfulest passport in the world right now.
In the world, that's right. And so I want to ask Laquan. So when compared to the United States, when you go to the other parts of the world, what is your experience like? What stands out as different?
To be totally honest, I think the people as well. I think sometimes growing up, when we think about all these places across the world, we have sometimes a bad reception on like, oh, this type of people. I wonder how they could treat me, how they could no. But I've realized that going abroad, that some of my best friends that I've came in contact with and still friends to this day is from other
Mhm.
countries outside of the U.S. The most sweetest, the most down to earth, the most loving people that I actually ever came across, and they till this day they still contact me almost every other day. Hey, Laquan, how you doing? What's not? How's everything going? And sometimes we create bonds. You know what I mean? The further we go with some of the greatest people in the world. So yeah, I think the people for me.
Definitely. And what would you say? What would you say, David? What would you say makes the United States different compared to the other parts of the world?
Well, it is definitely the people.
The people.
Yes, the
Okay.
people in other parts of the world are far more welcoming.
Mhm.
When you say you're from the Bahamas, the first question, I get this almost every trip.
Mhm.
What are you doing there?
What are you doing here as a Bahamian? Why are you here?
Yes, that is like one of the first questions every trip.
Yeah.
But other countries treat you far differently than Americans.
Than America.
They're really welcoming. Americans seem to be a little rushed and stuck up, but other countries, you don't have that issue.
Not at all. I could agree that, and the thing about it is, it's only when you reach there that you realize you don't get a taste for it anymore. And a lot of times I have to correct people and let them know that we don't get us wrong. We don't hate the US. We love to go there to shop. That's our neighboring country. We've done it all our life. But when you get a taste of the other side of the world, there is no comparison at all. And so I'm glad that you gentlemen would have shared that with us. All right. So now we want to get into the deep dive stuff. the power of the passport and the benefits. When we talk about the power of the passport, what do you think are our biggest benefits Bahamian men gain from traveling internationally? Sorry, guys, getting tongue twisted. Especially the ones that we may underrate. What do you think are some of the benefits of the power of our passport and the benefits of it as a Bahamian that a Bahamian man could gain from traveling internationally?
It's cheaper to travel
Okay.
because when you look, for example, let's say you have someone like, for example, China. Americans can't go to China. They need a visa. We don't need a visa. Now, let's say if you from the island and you got to get we had to get a Chinese visa right now. You have a family of 4. That means that's 4 plane tickets you got to buy. Like sometimes if you have to get when you have to get visas for certain places, that's ticket, that's hotel.
Civian,
Like even,
okay, yeah, you're back on. Go ahead.
yeah, like it's simple as an American visa. Like if you from the family island, you got to buy 4 plane ticket. If you have a family of 4, you got to get someplace to stay for the night. Then you got to also pay for the visa. When you look at it, you almost spending $2,000.
Okay.
Switching when you travel to some place where you don't need a visa, that's $2,000 could go towards your trip instead of visas, especially when you have a family.
Okay, so you would say the benefit of it for Bahamian men would be the cost. It's cheaper.
Cost is cheaper.
Okay, awesome. What would you say, David?
Well, I gotta agree with him on the cost, but I mean, it's only a one-time fee of 10 years, but but one of the benefits I've seen is I always find something that I could bring back and use in the Bahamas. Like there's always little things that we don't have locally that you find in these countries that that you could bring back to sell, to do stuff with.
So that's in terms of opportunity. When you get exposed, you're thinking that what I could bring home as a business opportunity.
Yes.
Awesome. So that's some benefits of it. You get business opportunities when you travel.
Yes.
That is awesome. What would you say, Laquan?
Let me ask the question. You said the benefits of Bahamian passport. That was the question.
Yeah. For Bahamian, well, our passport as well as what do you think are the biggest benefits Bahamian men gain from traveling internationally?
But I think passport and also the biggest thing that you guys are. I think we get a clearer understanding on who we are and why I said it is that I think Mr. Newbold alluded to it earlier. We get a better understanding on how powerful our passport is, and not only that, the way the world views us. I remember an incident where I was in the airport. I had some Nigerian friends, and we was going to the same place. And to be honest with you, the way that they talk to those Nigerians compared to the way that they talk to me was on a total different level. They talk to them harsh. They rough them up. Like, why you coming here? What is your this? It was so much different questions. When I came with my Bahamian passport, I was like, this let me try to ask me 1 or 2 questions, keep it pushing. But it showed me that, hey, at the end of the day, we have to appreciate where we come from as the Bahamas, and not only that, the people that fought, for this privilege for us to have this power in our passport. So it opened my eyes to say, something. Okay, you know what? I have to take more pride in where I come from and who I am, and be more proud of the country. So I just learned to represent it more. Hey, I'm from the Bahamas, best country in the world to me. So yeah, that's what it is for me.
Yes. Thank you for sharing, gentlemen, and all very, very valid, because at the end of the day, and you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's because our people come home. When we travel, we come back home. Last travel talk, we had Princia Charipenyanga on, and she was talking about how she's married to an African, and she was just sharing with us how she could go wherever she wants to, but her husband can't. So even though they are a unit, the passport power is different. And so I think like Laquan said, we have to appreciate the fact that our passport is one of the strongest in the world. And that's why when we go to, and my husband and I had a story up on my social media about when we went to Thailand, how they tried to terrorize us and wouldn't let us out of the country. And it wasn't because we did anything wrong. They're just very confused as to what is this passport that, these people could just move freely, like this. And so they think that we're Africans. They look at us and they're like, okay, Black, African. But when they see our passport, they have to respect us. And so we have to take advantage of that. Very nice, gentlemen. Very nice. Thank you so much for sharing. All right.
Another thing on that.
Go ahead, Civian.
Like, I've had 2 occasions where I've had women wanted to pay me to marry them so they could get a Bahamian passport.
Sorry, guys. Can you hear Civian? I couldn't. Can you guys hear? If you could say so, you could put it in the chat because I couldn't hear a word.
Yeah, I heard him.
Oh, sorry. That's me then. Go ahead, Civian. I didn't hear.
No, I said I had 2 instances where I've had women try to pay me to marry them so they could get a Bahamian passport.
Are you serious?
Yes. Offer me $10,000.
Wow. The power of the blue book. I'm telling you. And obviously you decline. Is your lady on? Is Shanna Delancey can do your lady? Shanna, it wasn't happening, girl. Not a good Bahamian man. Some woman, yeah, Shanna said some woman wanted to pay him. Davina said, interesting, Civian. Killing myself laughing. LaShante said, man, Mr. Newbold, don't cost me choke. Krishna said, that's it right there. My friends from different African and Caribbean countries always have issues when they travel. It's very easy with the Bahamian passport. Yes, guys, our passport. And that is why I wanted to create this travel talk to bring awareness. We have to understand that we're just taking our passport 30 minutes away. It's strong, man. We have so many more places that we most definitely can go. All right. So now we want to speak a little bit about your signature travel move. So once a Bahamian, well, let me start with this. What do you guys say to the man that says travel is for girls? International travel is for girls. Someone actually told us that, believe it or not. What do you say to them? You want to go ahead and start, Civian?
I would say no, basically, because traveling is a learning experience.
Okay.
And you get to see the pros and cons. Like sometimes you might appreciate when you could go to a country and appreciate the Bahamas. And then sometimes you might go to a country and be like, hey, why we ain't doing that here?
Okay.
And for example, when I went to Dubai, as soon as I come off the plane, this guy came up to me and said, hey, how long you in Dubai for? Can I get your number? Where you staying? And I gave them my number. And they said, oh, whenever day we free, they could come and drive us around and show us some of their projects and stuff. And so I said, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So a day when I was free, they drove me around, showed me some of the hotels they built. I had free food from each one of the hotels. And then they would show me how they built in the world's tallest hotel. And
Okay.
rooms starting at like 500,000. And you could make up to $107,000 a year. And once I get it, I could automatically get residency and I could live in Dubai. And the first thing my mind going on in that experience is in the Bahamas, how we always say, oh, the foreigners coming over here and all doing this and doing that. And I was like, but when you have your money, you could go in other people's country and do the same thing.
Exposure. I love it. So once you saw that, you realize that it's not unique to the Bahamas. Everyone does it. It's just that you have to position yourself.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing. What about you, David?
Well, for that guy who said travel is for ladies, one word, crazy. That's it.
Yes, agreed. So from the
Same.
mind's perspective,
Yeah.
why what that you'll just say crazy, like, but because why would you say it? Why would you say he's crazy? Or that's a crazy notion, rather.
It is a crazy notion. Travel is for everyone, you know.
That's right.
Like Civian said, you get exposed to so much more things when you travel. And male and female, you know, everyone should do it.
Awesome, awesome. And what would you say, Laquan?
I agree. That's a crazy notion. And I think it. I think for me, it sometimes tell me, you know, the mindset of some men. And my mindset always been this, that I'm always willing to learn. So if I'm willing to learn, if I'm willing to have knowledge, travel and exposure is one of the best ways to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like Mr. Newbold say he had an opportunity to go somewhere and see so many different things, and he learned. You know what I mean? So we got to be in the mindset of always willing to learn as men, you know,
Yes.
as well. And that's my mindset. I want to know. I want to learn. I want to understand this. How is this broken down? How are we gonna do this here? You know. So yeah, that's a crazy notion. Travel's for everybody.
Awesome, awesome. And so once the man is there, let's get into what does a man then do when he reach in these countries. So we want to talk a little bit. I call them signature travel moves. So Laquan, could you walk us through your perfect day in one of your favorite countries and tell us the signature things that you are sure to do when you travel? Laquan?
I'm so sorry. It broke. I didn't hear.
It's
I
okay.
didn't hear the question.
Okay,
Yeah,
I'll repeat it.
Yes.
Yeah, it's okay. So I call them signature travel moves. And what they basically are is just I realized over a period of time when my husband and I would travel, we had these signature kind of things that we do. So we always visit somewhere historic, or we definitely do something that is new. So let's just say the native food or whatever it is, you want to try that. And then we want to make a local connection. So what are some of your signature travel moves as a Bahamian man that you would tell another Bahamian man, well, okay, this is what you can do when you go in these foreign countries?
I think from something that you just said, historic sites. I'm a historian by heart and by nature, so I think the first thing that I really want to do, I want to know the history of this place. I want to know, I want to see the historic sites. I want to know what made this place the way it is now. You see what I'm saying? So my first move is always the history, the breakdown on and the backstory of what this place is built and rooted on. So for me, my first thing, history. That's just me.
Definitely history.
Yeah.
Okay, what would you say, David? What are some of your signature travel moves?
Well, my signature travel move is I must eat at an authentic local place. It's a must. I gotta eat at an authentic local, you know, where the locals eat.
Yes.
And then I'm a adventurer by art, so I always zip line wherever I go. Wherever there's a zip line, I'm gonna try it.
Really? Through the jungle and everything?
Zip line. That's one thing I gotta do.
Awesome. Zip line in. Okay, Civian, what about you?
I always book a tour because I am a professional tour guide. I always like to see how other tour guides around the world conduct their tours and see if I can pick up pointers on the way they do things and corrupt it into my job to better my job as a tour guide.
Awesome. So would you say that did you start your tour business? Did you do that as a result of traveling to these countries, or were you ever doing that?
I believe I actually manifested that job.
Wow.
Because I was sitting after I broke my leg, I was sitting in the hospital and I was like, I don't think I could go back into construction no more after breaking my leg on a job. I need a job where I don't have to be as physical and on my feet so much. So I was like, I need a driving job.
Okay.
And so I actually had a friend who worked on a water truck, and he was teaching me how to drive stick so I could drive the water truck. And I ended up getting a job part-time as an airport greeter at a transport company. And then they liked me so much, they brought me in full-time in the office.
Okay.
And then after bringing me on full time in the office, I did a course to be a public service driver. And so I started driving part time. And then after
Uh-huh.
that, I went and took another course where I could be a professional tour guide. And so that's how I got fully into driving.
Awesome. And Kimberly King, she says that you're the best tour guide ever. So what we want you gentlemen to do is, if you could put your social media handles in the chat, if you could type that, let them know that where they could find your business information and all that kind of good stuff as we transition through. That would be perfect, guys. Awesome stuff.
And
All right.
also for
Go
and
ahead.
also for the and he said he likes the zip line. Well, I went in if he ever goes to Dubai or the UAE in the Ras Al Khaimah Mountains, I went on the world's longest zip line. I know
Wow.
he'd like to try that. It was basically over 2 minutes long, and you was going over 90 miles per hour for 2 minutes in the mountains.
I'm sorry, on the zip line for all that time.
For over 2 minutes, going 90 miles per hour.
90 miles per hour. David, you got that. Oh, maybe David did it because he's adventurous.
No, I didn't do it.
Okay. 2 minutes is a long time. Dr. Lashante says giving NASCAR. Yes. So all of the guys who think that, travel is just for the pics and the aesthetics of the girls, naturally women, that's our thing. But like the gentlemen are saying, there's so many things, so many macho things. Zip lining for 2 minutes. Wow. Babe, don't get any ideas. Okay, I know you're on. I know you're watching. Don't get any. That's scary to me. But men are with the adrenaline thing, so I get it. All right. So now, if a Bahamian man is saving for his first big trip, and what's one smart money move he should start today? Because Civian started to allude to the fact that he had some I wouldn't say luck, but in 2019, $1,300 for all of those places. I don't know if the price would be the same now. I guess it depends on how you gauge it.
I actually a few months ago I actually did the same thing.
And it was the same price?
No, it was actually like $1,600-$1,700 now if you was to do that exact same thing now.
Okay. But that's still just a few $100 more though. That's a really good price, because to go from like Nassau to Thailand, sometimes you could pay up to like $2,000 or $1,800 depending.
And the reason why I did my trip like that was because for me, I really wanted to go Dubai. And for me to go from here to Dubai was $1,500.
Right.
And so by doing it that way, I got to see all those extra countries were basically $100 and some less.
Okay. All right. And so if you were to give a Bahamian man they're saving for their first big trip, what are some smart money moves you would tell them that they should start doing today? You gave us some budget hacks about, laying over in a country, right? So you could get to see the country, even if it was just for 4 hours. So we love that. So it's to get long layovers. So how could they stretch their dollars when they go to these countries? I guess that's a two-part question.
I think one thing I would like to say, alluding to that, I think sometimes us as men, we struggle with planning. But I think if we get planning in advance down pat when it comes to traveling, we understand that things are very more cheaper the more further you do them. You see what I'm saying? So if you want to say, if you say you want to plan, if you want to go away in Christmas, you want to go away in Christmas, hey, don't just start a month or two before. Let's start before time. So, at the end of the day, you have opportunity to pay on the ticket, pay on the hotel, pay this and different, sections. So you wouldn't even feel it as much, to be honest. So I think planning in advance when it comes to traveling is a big deal as well, because tickets and hotels and all that, goes by seasonal rates. So, that's something to take into consideration.
I love that, Laquan. So how many months would you say? How much months in advance would you say?
I'd say 6 to 7 months, because that's how he said that my one-way ticket from New York to Italy, that was $240. I bought that 6 months ahead of time.
New York to Italy.
A one-way ticket.
Okay.
I did that same ticket a month before, and it was $400.
Yes. So there's a big price difference when you book it in advance. That's a very good travel hack, because a lot of times where persons are so used to like going to like Miami, the price doesn't really fluctuate that much. You're going to spend between $250, $270 and $3 something. So it's never, oh, let me plan in advance to get that kind of big discount. But that you have to understand that when you're going on the other side of the world, timing is important. So I love that you gentlemen shared that. David, do you have something to add?
Yes, it's all in planning. So
yes,
the further out you book, the cheaper your ticket is. Also, like you said, Google Flights.
Yes.
You go there and you can see the cost of your ticket 6 months out, 3 months out, and you can decide. It's cheaper to go in July or September.
Yes.
So,
and sorry, David, go ahead.
You have that at your fingertips. So once you plan, then you save money. Also, some airlines have this layover program that you can, save money and see countries.
Yeah.
The layover program.
Yeah, there's a layover program, like I think
Panama, Turkey.
So the airlines will pay a hotel fee for you to stay in that country.
Okay.
But it's like 6 or 7 of them that does it.
Right.
Yeah, Panama does it, Turkey does it, Qatar does it, and those are 3 that I know of.
Yeah.
Right, where you could have you could lay over in the country.
Yeah, for a couple of days.
Okay, awesome travel tips, guys, for budget. And so we're checking in the chat, and we see that Ernestine said, I know safety is a big thing for women who travel solo. I want to know from the men what precautions they take when they travel solo. Do you guys travel solo, or you're always with someone?
Next one, I go into Canada solo.
Yeah, I did. I guess because I did Toronto solo a year ago. Yeah, I went solo. Spontaneous. I just jumped up, went, and just did it. I think for me though, the tip for me is when I travel in solo, I don't venture out as much if I have a group. You see what I'm saying? My travel schedule is more, compressed. I don't really venture as further. You know what I mean? If I with a group, I go out more. But if I with myself, I kind of stay, more, close to the city, around people more, just to be more on the safe side. Yeah.
Awesome.
And to be honest, when I went to Italy, everybody was asking me if I ain't scared, because the same time I was going, a month before that, that's when them 2 Bahamian fellas, they got killed in Italy. Remember that? I went like a month after that. But I didn't know. I don't know if they was probably into something, because the people was nice. I had a nice experience and over there was really safe too.
Right. And what about you? Did David share already? Sorry, guys.
So for me, I travel both solo and with people. But if I'm traveling solo, my biggest safety tip is always stay in a hotel.
Yes, you're a hotel guy.
And always stay on the 2nd floor or above. Because now most hotels, you need, in order to get to the upper floors, you need your room key. So people can't really get to you like that.
Okay. Awesome tips.
Also, I found these little door alarms on Amazon.
Okay.
That you could stick under the door, and if someone pushed the door, it'll buzz. It'll make this sound, like it'll alarm off for you. That's
okay.
Door
alarms. That's for the room, right?
That's for your room, yeah.
Okay, awesome. And Ernestine is saying yes. And hotels have cameras.
Yes.
Never take the same route. Shanna is saying never take the same route and air tag. Okay, so put air tag in your stuff. Awesome. And she said to also not be so talkative. Dr. LaShante shared this last travel talk for women. Sometimes when you get in Ubers, I know my husband and I have this experience. When did you guys come? They like to have these conversations. Don't be so easy to give information, because sometimes they're gathering information to know where to place you and how to scam you, and God forbid, do the unthinkable. So very good tip. So even for men, I didn't know that. I was thinking that men, that's a good question to understand, because I'm thinking that men have it, easier
Ooh.
than women.
And speaking of that, with scam, when I was in Venice, because they have a lot of African and Venezuelan refugees in Italy.
Okay.
We was walking to the train station, and we had to go over a long bridge. And we was telling me and my friend, we was telling these guys, we good. They come trying to grab our bags, and we tell them, no, we good, we good. They still get the bag and they walk over. And so then after that, they come put no day hand for tip.
Mm-hmm.
So we give them we go onto the ATM. I get $10. I give them 10 euros to share.
Right.
They say, "Oh, that ain't enough."
Oh no.
Me and my friend look at them. They say they think we's American. They say, "Yeah, no, we's Bahamians." They say, "Bro, if y'all don't cover for y'all don't get y'all here bus off." And they flick it go a bit more.
Yeah, it's a tip. You take what you get, and they laugh, right?
I then didn't need y'all help with my bag.
Exactly. But I
They
find.
come.
Sorry, go ahead, Civian.
They try. If depending on where you go, you have a lot of people that try to bully you. So you got to be aggressive.
Very good point. Very good point. And I was watching some travel vlogs in Egypt, and they seem like they have it down to a science there. And that's one of my apprehensions. We would like to visit like Argentina and Venezuela, but they're very big on, like, they have their scamming down to a next level. I saw where this lady was just sharing on her vlog where they just take they like cut the bag from underneath, and she was sitting on the side of them and took all of their stuff. So, sometimes you just have to have that extra vigilance when you're going to these foreign places, because it's all beautiful Instagram worthy stuff. But you have to be vigilant as well. You can't just lose all precautions, even though they don't have like heinous crimes like like we may have in Nassau, but they're definitely very, very skilled at scamming. Okay, guys. So what would you say is your budget friendly countries you would recommend for a first time traveler? Let's throw some countries out there for Bahamian men that say, you know what, I want to go. I've heard the travel talk, and I want to really explore beyond the familiar. Let's give them some budget friendly countries that they could start with.
For our layover when we was in Turkey, that's why I say hopefully someday I want to go back. It's like we went out to dinner, and our food came up to like $73 in their money, and we had like 4 plates of food and 2 drinks, and it's a restaurant now. Now, when we did the conversion to Bahamian money, it was like $12 and something cents.
That's right. So that's Turkey.
In Turkey, that's like damn. But now the reason why it's so cheap is because people there make like $400 or $500 a month. So even though it's still cheap for us, it's still kind of expensive for them.
Okay. Yes. So Turkey is a budget friendly country. What would you say, Laquan? What budget friendly country would you give?
Ooh, that's not. I don't know. I don't. To be honest, I haven't been as much places as you two guys. So to be totally honest, I don't think I've visited a budget friendly country as yet. To be totally honest.
Because you went to the ones that are up there, the ones, the Switzerland.
Yeah.
What was the other country? Switzerland and
Sweden, Denmark.
Sweden and Denmark.
Yeah. So
sorry, I just want to stick a pin right there. What was it like there? In those, how is it different there? Because I've never been. I think, gentlemen, did you guys go to Sweden or Denmark? David, have you been?
No, but I'm gonna go in November.
Okay. So what was it like there, Laquan? What is worth seeing there and those countries?
It's great. Great people for sure. Also, rich in history. And also the variety of different foods that they have over there is great. I think one of the first things I've ever came across, where I think this was in Gothenburg, Sweden, and when I was walking around the city, I think the city had like free Wi-Fi or something like that, and I think that was so dope to me. I never saw that before. You know what I mean? So, but yeah, no, the environment, the people, I love it. I think it's just a different way of life, and I encourage anyone to go, honestly.
And that's Europe, right?
Yeah, that's Europe, yes.
And one thing with Europe I love is the architecture. Could you appreciate that
The
as a Bahamian
architecture,
man?
yes,
That
yes,
was fabulous.
yes.
Yes, indeed.
yes.
It's such a change. And so what would be your budget-friendly countries that you would say, David, you've been to over 40. So what ones would you share, David, that you would tell a Bahamian man, okay, start with these ones?
Well, I have two. Cuba would be one because
Okay.
it's really close, so the ticket is cheap, and you have good
Okay.
value for your dollar. And the second
For your
one
money.
would definitely be Colombia.
Colombia.
Yes, Colombia by far.
Bahamian men would love Colombia for more than one reason. I'm sorry, what is this on the screen?
It says whiteboard. I don't know.
Okay, I'm trying to get up.
Colombia, on one of my visits to Colombia, me and two friends had lunch. One had steak, one had lobster, and of course I had chicken with a bottle of wine. And the bill was $27 US.
$27 US for all of
$7 US, yes.
Colombia.
So $27 you couldn't beat. No place in the world. So,
and is it safe there?
Yes, I found it really. We walked every place we wanted to go, actually. And what I noticed on the way back to our hotel, every night there was a police that followed us back. So whenever we got in the hotel yard, they would just go up the street and turn around and go back. I noticed that.
Awesome.
Every night they did that. I was like, these police following us. Every night they did it.
Wow. So we have Colombia, Turkey, Cuba, budget-friendly countries. Awesome, guys. So as a Bahamian man, that's what you could start with. And then we're seeing in the chat that Andika is saying that in Naples, she was speaking to safety. They were very aggressive and pushy. I had to bring out the Bahamian in me. And then Shana is saying, never take the same route and be careful about tours. They do in Jamaica and the Caribbean as well. Ernestine is saying, in Panama, a guy followed two of us ladies to the bathroom and tried to come in. Luckily, we locked the door. So they're speaking to safety. And Anthony is saying that Cuba is a budget-friendly country. Shanna is also saying Honduras, how Colombia is, she's saying, wow. So Honduras is budget-friendly and definitely Colombia. Oh, they're asking, David, did you do nightlife in Colombia? Oh, David.
Yes, I did. They have actually the best nightlife, especially for guys.
Bahamian guys, you hear that? Nightlife in Colombia. And that's just for the drinks, guys. The drinks are just chef's kiss, right, David?
The drinks are top notch.
All right, guys. And so we want to walk through what is it like on a 14-hour flight? Because a lot of Bahamian men, you know, especially if they're watching this, they're used to like the 30-minute window over to the States. And so 14 hours on a flight, or even 8 or more, you know, what are some of your tips to surviving this? I could never get used to the jet lag. And I'm also interested in finding out, what tips would you guys give to survive the long haul flights?
Well, for me, my long haul flights, especially when I'm on the way back home, I try not to sleep the night before I leave. Because I want to
sleep the night before, okay.
Because I want to sleep on the plane. So, so because most flights return and leave in the morning or leave early in the day. So if
Okay.
you sleep that night, that means you're not gonna sleep on the plane.
On the plane.
So I try to stay up as long as possible the night before I leave on my return.
Okay. All right. And what would you say,
And-
Laquan? Sorry, David, go ahead.
Oh, but when I'm leaving, I try to get as much sleep as possible before I leave. Going to
Before
my
you leave.
destination.
And so when you're on it, you're just streaming your services and stuff. So you're up, even if it's nighttime, you're just up.
Yes. So I pay for that Wi-Fi. I pay for that Wi-Fi and I talk to my friends, while on the flight.
And it works seamlessly, no problem. Your
No problem.
Wi-Fi. That's British Airways, right? That's
Well,
British.
I pick. It depends on the airline.
Okay.
I've
But you have no
flown
problem.
No.
Okay. What would you say, Laquan? What is your tips for navigating those long flights?
I think for me personally, the way my lifestyle is set up, I always have a speech or a sermon or some type of work pending. So I think sometimes
Okay.
even in travel, sometimes I have an opportunity to get my notepad out or get the iPad or my laptop out or phone out. And I do a lot. I write my speeches. I prioritize like the things that I really need to get done. I have 14 hours. Hey,
Okay.
let me get this stuff out here whilst I can do it, whilst I concentrate, whilst I ain't got nothing to do. I do that, type up, kill time that way, and also
Okay.
get as much sleep as possible.
Okay, so just be productive during that time. So you
Yeah,
have your
just be
laptop,
productive.
everything you need. Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. What about you, Civian?
I mostly watch movies. That's why I download a lot of stuff on my tablet or on Netflix and stuff.
Okay.
And my longest flight was 14 and a half hours. That's from Azerbaijan to New York.
Okay.
And November, I get on the fifth longest commercial flight. Like that's 17 hours and 50 minutes. So like I said, I do
And
on
where does
that.
that go to?
From LA to Singapore.
From LA to Singapore. LA to Singapore. And that's how much hours, sorry?
17 hours and 50 minutes.
17 hours on the plane. And you're gonna watch you're catching up on all of the series. All right, guys. Thank you so much for sharing. And do you guys get more out of traveling alone or with others?
I'll say others.
I say with others, because
I'll say
sometimes
others.
you get a lot of things become cheaper too, because you get to split a lot of the bills.
True.
Okay.
True.
Like for example, that trip I told you that I went on was me and one of my best friends from high school.
Right.
And so most of the place we stayed was Airbnbs,
Mm-hmm.
and it was $1,320. And so when we
Okay.
split it between the two of us, it was only $660.
Okay, so when you're traveling with someone, you could kind of split the bill so you get the most of it like that. Awesome. What would you say, David?
Yes, definitely traveling with others is more beneficial. You split transport, you split hotels, you split Airbnb, so you lessen your cost by half. Or if
Awesome.
the more people, the less the cost.
Less it is. Would you agree, Laquan?
Yeah, I agree.
You say the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
But okay. So what about family travel, guys? If you were to travel with your significant other, or what are some of the benefits of that? As a Bahamian man, because like my husband, he's on. He often says that he gets a different version of his wife on vacation.
True.
If you want to find your wife, travel with her first. When you travel with a woman, you get to see the real her. Trust me.
Good. Oh, by the way, is that a good or bad thing?
It depends on the woman. It could be good or bad, because traveling creates a lot of like for example, when we was in Italy, we was hotspotting off the phone we got from our Airbnb.
Uh-huh.
And the the phone ended up dying, and so we end up getting lost.
Uh-huh.
But the Airbnb we had a map, and so we had to direct ourselves back to the Airbnb with the map. And I was like, and my friend was like, I trust you. I know you could get us back home safe. And on the map, every corner in Italy is a via. I was like, how much vias they get? And I was like, depending on the woman, she might get frustrated. Oh, you always walking in circles. You don't know what you're doing. You getting us lost.
You know how Bahamian woman go, you know why you are you not getting it right? So
but eventually, we ended up getting back to the Airbnb safe just by using the paper map.
Okay. So you were able to navigate that. So Shanna is saying not only women, man, if you want to know a man too, Dr. LaShawn said exactly, men as well. Stephanie is saying vice versa. Oh, the women don't agree with y'all bashing us like that. I was saying, man, I weak. LOL. I'm laughing before he even finished because I can't imagine getting lost with my hubby. And I was thinking the same thing. Like, you know, when you travel, especially when you're traveling away from the familiar, when things happen naturally as women, you know, we get a little bit. So yes, I agree. If you want to know, man or woman, travel far with them. You're going to know exactly who they are.
Quick panic attack.
Quick panic attack, definitely. Okay, guys. And so this question is for Civian. You've rebuilt your life after major setbacks and still found a way to see the world. What do you say to the man who feels his record, his health, or his finances are holding him back? You know, I just want to elaborate on that a bit. A lot of Bahamian men have, and this might not be your case. I know you've spoken about the health aspect of it, but a lot of Bahamian men have problems with their records. You know, they did some things when they were young and they would have some challenges. Even if you didn't face those kinds of challenges, what would you say to them who want to, you know, explore the world, but they would have had some setbacks?
I would say, like you said earlier, America ain't the only place to travel because you have some countries that will accept you even though you had that record, and so you can travel to those countries. And as a tour guide, I'll give you an example. Remember, we had the pandemic where you had to be vaccinated.
Yes.
Or you couldn't travel to America, and so we was having a poker tournament here, and I picked up a guest who was going to the poker tournament, and he said he came from Spain. I was like, you came from Spain? But I was like, you came on a Cuba flight. And he's like, yeah, he went from Spain to Cuba and then from Cuba here. People don't realize how much direct flights we have to other countries that got access to those other countries as well.
Yes.
So you could get the Europe from here on British Airways, or you could get the Europe from Canada or from Cuba like that guest did.
Right.
Or from Panama.
Yes, very good point. So as a Bahamian man, if you had problems with let's just say you have a criminal record and you say, okay, the US has denied you for whatever reason, they deny your visa. You can fly from Nassau to Canada and then get to the rest of the world, or you can go from Nassau to London and, you know, and go wherever your destination will take you. But guess what I just found out? Because we're having a trip in the fall. Panama is also a hub because you could go from Nassau to Panama and Panama to.
So I said that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I just recently found. So Panama is also a hub, and that's just 2 hours away. It's shorter than it is to get to Canada because Canada is all normally our go-to. But yes, very much so, Civian. Thank you so much for sharing that. And so is there anything else you would add, even health-wise, because you would have had some challenges, but you've been everywhere.
Yeah, and how you say health-wise too, a lot of people travel to Turkey and to Thailand for health purposes too, for like medical procedures and stuff like that, because it's a lot cheaper than going to the US.
Yes. Awesome. Very awesome. Awesome takes on that, Civian. Thank you for sharing. And so for Laquan, you mentor young men every day. If you could gift them just one international experience, what would it be? And what would you hope that they bring back from that experience? Laquan, did we lose you? I'm looking.
I'm here. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Uh-huh.
Okay, repeat the question one more time.
Yeah, let me drink my water too. Okay, so you mentor young men every day. If you could give them just one international experience, what would it be? And what do you hope that they bring back?
Okay, one international experience that I had.
One experience that you had, yeah, that you would definitely say you would also want them to experience it. What would it be?
Okay, so I think in 2024, yeah, that was 2024, 2024, I went to the World Methodist Council. And this was in Sweden actually, yeah. So we was doing these classes and seminars, right? And I think at the same time or right before that, the war broke out between it was Russia and what? Russia and who Russia fought in the war previously. I'm trying to remember the other country.
Ukraine.
Anyway, Ukraine, right. So it was a war.
Okay.
So what happened was it was this guy from the Ukraine was given these sessions and he was talking. He was telling them about his experience, in the war and how it switched his mindset on the way of life, on like how he watched so many people die and so many people who we know, perish in that war. And I think sitting there, it taught me something. It taught me that, we live a life of peace in the Bahamas. You see what I'm saying? That you
Yeah.
have you have people out here that they don't want to go to war, but they're being forced to. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying? So why in our country, us as young men, why are we having so many crime? Why are we trying to do the same things that these countries are trying? People are trying to run from. You see what I'm saying? So let's continue to create more peace. You see what I'm saying? So it taught me that, like, guess what? You know what? If I'm mentoring these young men, at the end of the day, people are actually really going to war for real. You see what I'm saying? We need to stop as young men putting ourselves in a position of having so many crimes, so many murders, so many teeth, and so many, so much crimes that we are doing, that we need to, take a step back and understand that we are privileged here and we have a great country, and it's very, 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 very peaceful, and this is a place of freedom. A lot of people don't have that freedom across the world.
Very powerful, Laquan. And Gia is saying a very big take back for young men. That is awesome and I could agree with you that it's almost like, to just piggyback off what you're saying, they don't have to do it. Like you said, we're a peaceful place. The Bahamas is not Ukraine. It's not a war zone. So why are we making it that? But I think a lot of our Bahamian men are not exposed, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And so they're recreating this society where they think it's the way, but they need to expose themselves so they could see, like, you could be civil, you could live normal. Like, it's just, I think it's a matter of exposure. So thank you so much for sharing that, Laquan. And you mentor young men, and so I'm glad that you have that ability to make that impact. So you get in their mind based on your travels and based on the fact that you could bring those stories to them and say, hey, you don't have to. And, like Dr. Lashante said, she said, I beg to differ. Nassau is nowhere in comparison to what you guys experienced in Eleuthera. So I think you still have a level of peace, right? On the Family Islands.
Yes.
So I think just Nassau is the one that we have to get it together. But this message, I hope, will definitely reach them to just change their mindset. Take your passport, expose yourself so that you can realize that you don't have to do the things that you're doing.
Yeah, the real war zone in Nassau start next week. When you see school open, that traffic.
Got me scared for a minute there. Yes.
Well, next week is the real war zone. I couldn't agree more. Like I told one of my friends, I told her that today actually, that when school open, I'm gonna ride my bicycle to work.
That's right. Get that cycling in it.
Just to
All
avoid
right.
traffic.
And so, David, this is your question. With more than 40 destinations stamped in your passport, which one place challenged everything you thought you knew, and why?
Egypt, definitely.
Egypt.
Yes.
Why would you say?
Well, originally when I decided to go to Egypt, I thought the people were black. Okay. But
Right, because it's Africa, right?
exactly. But through research, I found out they were Arabian.
Okay.
But I already made my plans, and now I have to deal with this trip. So the food threw me off, and I like to eat. I like to eat, but every meal they serve three things: hummus, falafel, and baba ganoush, and I didn't enjoy any of it.
No? Not even a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
But that's the country with all of the spices and stuff, right?
That's the country they have a lot of oils and other stuff, like, for mummification purposes that they used way back then. But they have spices, and you can get spices and teas, and it's a bunch of stuff that you can buy on the streets.
Yeah, but it was challenging for you. So you didn't like the food at all. Was there anything else? Persons are saying in the chat that they heard Egypt is the ghetto.
Egypt is, no, let me not say that. Egypt was the dirtiest place I've ever been.
Oh my goodness.
It's in the desert. So
yeah,
it is desert, and that desert dust is every place.
Wow.
Every place.
So that is the trip that challenged everything you thought you knew. But guess what? When you told me about, because I told you I wanted to go to Egypt, and you told me to go to Luxor. And when I started to research, because you're into history and I am as well. And I said, I wanted to go down the Nile River cruise thing. So now that you said that the food is terrible, I'm thinking now that I have to find an alternative, because I'm not good with the high spice thing. It gives me nausea. And so I'm very glad that you shared that, because it's going to be a no for me. So what tips would you give then to navigate that for like a week-long trip?
Well, in Egypt also, you got to be very careful of scammers. And I'll give you a little story. It wasn't really a scam, but I was at the pyramids of Giza.
Okay.
And I was buying souvenirs, and this guy came up to me. I had US money. He said, "Oh, you want to change that US money?" I said, "Okay, fine. US for US."
Right.
So I gave him 100, and he gave me some 20s, and some 20s. So I tried to spend the money he gave me later on that day, and I couldn't spend one of the 20s. Because in Egypt, the money have to be I think it's after 75.
Right.
After 1975, that's the only money you can spend. The only US money you can spend.
Wow.
So he gave me all the money. So for me, I said, this money could become valuable later on. So I just kept it, it wasn't a big deal to me.
Right.
It was only $20. So I still have that $20 bill that he gave me. It was like 1950 something. So it was a really old note.
Okay, so you have to be extremely careful. So that was the country that was like, it's the greatest challenge.
Yes.
Egypt. Wow. And what would you say was the country that you would go back to in a heartbeat?
Czech Republic.
Czech Republic. Why?
Lots of shopping, lots of dining, easy to navigate.
Just excellent.
Yes, perfect for females.
Perfect with, hear that, ladies? Czech Republic, perfect with females. Laquan, what would you say is your favorite destination? And also, Civian, I'll ask you the same thing. Best experience, best travel destination.
Honestly, though, I love Toronto. I don't know why. I think Toronto, it's just a vibe for me. You know what I mean? is not is like the United States, but it's not as fast paced. The people is not as aggressive. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's more of a laid back United States, and a lot of places to go see. Niagara Falls, so much different places to go see, so much sightseeing, so much history, nice, great food. I made some great friends over there. So for me, one of my favorite places and cities in the world all time is Toronto.
Toronto. Awesome.
Yeah.
And it's very close. So Bahamian men, you heard that. You can go to Toronto. It's a vibe. And it's only about 3 hours away. So you don't even have to go, on a long haul flight to be able to experience something different and meaningful. What would you say, Civian? What is your best travel experience?
I hope
that you
mine
would
be
recommend?
Toronto when I go there next month. But
Next. Yeah.
but for
Mhm.
but for now, I would really say I liked Italy.
Okay.
It was nice. Like you could be walking in a city and you could just turn one corner and you come across a building that's 3,000 years old or something that was built thousands of years ago. And the people were
Awesome.
nice. Like I went to
Yes.
like some of the restaurants and shops I went to, when I told them I was from the Bahamas, they were like giving me free things. Like, oh, you came a long way to visit my country. And some of them were just giving me free things just because I said I was from the Bahamas.
Awesome. Italy.
Yes.
Which part of it? Is that Venice or just the whole of Italy?
I was in Rome. I was in Rome and in Venice.
Okay. And no racism for men?
No, I didn't experience no racism.
Any racism. Awesome. These are just some powerful nuggets for Bahamian men. They have so much that they can glean from. And so we at this time.
I have a little story.
Go ahead, sorry.
I have a little story. I recommended the Czech Republic for a visit, but my best travel story would have been South Africa.
Okay. Share with us, David.
On my trip to South Africa, I met a lady by the name of Antoinette Satoli.
Okay.
She is the sister of Hector Peterson, who was gunned down in the Soweto uprising. That was at the ending of the apartheid.
Wow.
So
the picture that you said was meaningful?
Yes.
Okay.
So she told us all about what happened that day. Parents didn't know what the students were doing. So the students came up with their own protests.
Right.
To try and end apartheid. So that was my most memorable trip.
In South Africa. Because
of that lady and her story and just the history behind it.
Awesome, David. And what I'm hearing from all of you gentlemen is that the people, a lot of you keep sharing about, the experiences, but I keep hearing the theme of the people. So I think that's one of the reasons why Bahamian men also would really benefit from it. You have these connections that are just invaluable. And so I just love all of this sharing. And I see that in the chat persons are saying, that they felt that. And yes, Italy, Andika is saying Italy was definitely it. And Anthony is saying South Africa is on the bucket list. Definitely.
Yeah, I drive a lot of people who said South Africa was like one of their favorite countries.
Oh, yeah?
And believe it or not, they have penguins.
Penguins in South Africa.
Yeah, they do.
I'm looking forward to the sunset. I heard that, I don't know if that's South Africa, but they said that they have some of the best sunsets in Africa. So I'm really, really looking forward to that. And so guys, at this time, we want to open up the floor for questions. So our viewers watching, is there any questions that you have for the gentleman before we wrap up? You could unmute your mics if you have a question. Or a comment? Dr. Lashante is saying, just a comment. Excellent job, man. Love the talk. Awesome. Yes. It was so insightful and it's just a lot of gems. And I know when men get to watch this, they're like, okay, travel is not for girls.
I could say something on one of my experience.
Sure.
Remember what I said about the Azerbaijan?
Uh-huh.
All right. So what I learned about that trip too was when we was in Dubai, you can't rent a car unless you have a credit card.
Okay.
Because we went to book a car, and when I went to pay with my debit card, they told me no, only credit card
That's for Dubai.
for Dubai. Now,
Okay.
the only good thing with that was the taxis and the trains were very reliable to get around, so you didn't really need to drive.
Okay. Yes.
And I also, when you travel it, always have at least 2 or 3 cards. Because what happened was I ended up losing one of my cards. And so I didn't have access to my money. But it was a good thing I was with a friend, and she banked with the same bank, and it was a good thing I had online banking. And so I sent all of my money to her account.
Okay.
Now,
go ahead. Sorry.
Now here's another thing. When you certain banks, you have a limit.
Yes.
And so once you go over that limit, you have to wait 24 hours to spend again.
Yes.
And so when we went to the airport, we ended up missing our flight from Dubai to Kenya.
Wow. That was a penalty.
And so now we trying to figure out how we could get home. And so we saw they had another flight leaving within a few hours to go Kenya. But because both of our monies was on her account, and so both of us was using her card, we went over her daily limit. And so we had to wait 24 hours to use the card again.
Wow.
And so we end up not booking the later flight. And so I had to go online. We had to wire the money to somebody else's account so they can pay for the tickets online for us. And then I ended up Googling flights from Dubai to New York. So I just won't get home. And I saw there was a flight from Dubai to Azerbaijan and then New York. And I was like, I never heard of this country before, but I just won't get home.
But I'm going. I want to get home. And so what you're saying is that's a major travel tip, guys. Have 3 cards because anything that can go wrong will go wrong. And trust me, there's some banks that it'll be seamless. I could say that we can say that First Caribbean never lets you down. If anyone begs to defer, we could tussle over it. But First Caribbean is seamless. You don't have to alert them to let them know. And that's, am I saying it right? First Caribbean, CIBC. Yes. So you never have to alert them and let them know that you're traveling. You just go and tap and go. No problems. So
another thing,
CIBC never ever let me down.
And another thing, my mom used to always say from I was small, always go away with Bahamian money. So when you come back up from away, you ain't broke.
Major travel tip. Don't come back home broke. Take some Bahamian. Yeah, because if you have to use it at customs also or with the porters or anything like that. So true. Anything.
And what that helped us actually in Azerbaijan because we couldn't use our cards to spend money. We was at a pastry place, and so we was looking at the stuff and we was telling the guy, oh, we can't use our cards. So he's like, you have any money? So he say, where you from? He say, we from the Bahamas. So he's like, you have any Bahamian money on you? We say, yeah, I had a bunch of Bahamian dollars. So he said, because I don't know if I'll ever go to the Bahamas. He said, if you give me a Bahamian dollar, I'll give you $20 for the food or to the store. I'll keep the Bahamian dollar as a souvenir.
So it was a saving grace.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, guys. So just looking at what the persons are saying to you gentlemen in the chat. Civian, how you know what Airbnb to get. Shana is saying that. How do you know what Airbnb? How would you choose your Airbnb? Anthony is saying to swing you with the rental cars. Ashana is saying, David, what would be a great place to start traveling? Since David traveled to 40 countries. Okay, David answered. He said Colombia is excellent, then Cuba. Laquan is saying, thank you so much. Shana is saying, great job. She enjoyed the session. Ernestine is commenting, glory. Davina Meadows is saying, this was really good. Dr. LaShante is saying, Murphy's Law. CIBC never lets you down. Shana is saying, no to Commonwealth Bank. This was a good trade-off. Awesome. So guys, we just wanted to, Civian, I know there was a question for you. I think she said, how do you pick your Airbnb?
Well, I go through the pictures and then I also look at location to see how far it is from places. And then I also go by the aesthetics, how it looks. And then I also go through the rules to see like how the rules set up.
Okay.
To see if I agree with those rules and all and everything first. And then I book.
Okay, thank you so much. And so we want to complete this sentence for Bahamian men, guys. I want to start with Laquan. Travel is blank, and you fill out the rest. I want each of you to think of, to say to the Bahamian man what you would complete that sentence with. Travel is blank. We'll do Laquan, then David, then Civian.
Travel. I think for me, travel is life. I gotta be honest. Yeah, I love it.
Awesome. David, what would you say? Travel is
like a book. The more you travel, the more you get absorbed.
awesome. And what would you say? Travel is like a book. And what would you say, Civian?
I would say it's like a sponge. The more you do it, the more you go undo it. Like soon as you come off a trip, you won't go again.
Addictive.
Addictive.
Travel is addictive. Yes, indeed. And the persons in the chat are saying travel is living. Garvin Butler is saying travel is living. She is saying travel is exposure. Shanna is saying travel is memories. And Dr. LaShante is saying travel is freeing. She is saying travel is luxury. I love it. I love the responses, guys. And so tonight you've heard from three Bahamian men proving that the world is ours to explore. Let their journeys be your permission to go beyond the familiar, beyond the comfortable, beyond borders you've always known. I'm Deandra Dean, and this has been Passport to More, a Bahamian Travel Talk. Remember, if life is truly what we make it, let it be grand. Thank you, gentlemen. It was a pleasure.